92 million jobs transformed, 170 million new roles by 2030. AI is reshaping work fast, and the Future of Jobs Report 2025 lays out all the latest AI dope.
We're talking about the future of jobs.
That's right. We're going to be taking a close look at the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025.
Yeah, it's a pretty hefty report, but believe me, it's packed with some serious insights that you do not want to miss.
No, you don't.
We're talking game-changing stuff here, folks. You know, the kind of info that can help you make smarter choices about your career.
Yeah, it's not just about surviving in the job market, it's about thriving.
Exactly. Absolutely. So if you're ready to level up your career game, you are definitely in the right place.
Yeah, so let's dive right in, shall we? What do you say?
Let's do it. So first things first, this report drops some serious truth bombs, and the first one is this. By 2030, nearly a quarter of all jobs are going to be radically different.
Yeah, a quarter.
That's huge.
It is.
We're talking 170 million brand new jobs emerging.
Wow.
But get this, 92 million existing jobs, they're going to need some serious reshaping. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it's like a massive job market makeover.
Okay, so what's driving this massive shift?
Well, the report talks about 5 big trends that are really shaping the future.
Okay.
Obviously, technology is a big one, but there's also the green transition,
Right.
We've got those economic wobbles happening around the world and global power dynamics shifting, and even just how populations are aging
Right.
or booming, depending on where you are in the world.
It's so fascinating how all these pieces fit together.
It really is, yeah.
It's like a giant puzzle.
It is. It's a tapestry.
Hey, want our free AI dope top AI tools that we use? Chat below. It's our live Google Sheets packed with over 100 killer tools, video, music, photos, AI voices, productivity, script writing, YouTube hacks, captions, the works. Always growing. Live Google Sheet. Always free. AI, dope top AI tools that we use. Download and chat below. Back to the show.
Okay, so let's untangle some of these threads, starting with tech.
Okay.
Now, I got to be honest. I thought AI would be the big disruptor.
Yeah.
Like robots taking over the world kind of thing.
It's a common thought.
But the report actually says something else is even more impactful.
Yeah. They actually highlight broadening digital access as the most transformative trend. It affects a whopping 60% of employers.
Really?
More than AI or automation.
Wait, more than AI. But, doesn't everything run on AI these days?
Well, that's the thing. The report makes it clear that digital access is the foundation for all these other technologies to even exist.
Okay.
You can't have a self-driving car without the internet, can you?
That's true. That's true. Okay, so digital access is kind of like the on-ramp to the future job highway.
I like that.
But let's talk AI, because it's still a pretty big deal, right?
It is.
The report says its use is exploding.
Yeah.
Even though it was only being used in a tiny fraction of companies back in 2023.
Yeah.
So with all this AI talk comes a big question.
Right.
Will AI make us obsolete, or will it actually supercharge our skills?
The million-dollar question.
The report actually suggests that AI might empower people in less specialized roles to actually take on more expert tasks.
It's a really interesting possibility.
So are we talking about accountants suddenly doing high-level financial analysis, or nurses making diagnoses?
It's not as far-fetched as it might sound. The report mentions studies where AI actually helped people perform tasks that would normally require years of specialized knowledge.
That's incredible.
The possibilities are really quite amazing.
It's definitely mind-blowing. And I gotta say, a little bit scary.
I understand that.
It's like giving everyone a superpower.
Right.
But then who needs Superman anymore?
Well, that's where the human element comes in.
Right.
The report really emphasizes that even with all this AI stuff, those uniquely human skills, like adaptability, critical thinking, creativity, those are going to be more valuable than ever.
So it's not about becoming a robot. It's about learning how to work with them.
Exactly. Think of AI as your co-pilot. Not your replacement.
Gotcha. I'm starting to get it. But how do we make sure that we're in the pilot seat and not the passengers? Like, what can we actually do to stay ahead of this whole AI wave?
That's where this report gets really interesting.
Okay.
It goes beyond just identifying trends and actually lays out some concrete steps we can take.
Okay, listeners, get your notepads ready. We're about to dive into some actionable advice.
All right, so first and foremost, the report emphasizes continuous learning.
Okay.
In this job market, it's no longer just a nice to have.
Right.
It's a need to survive.
Think of it as your career life insurance policy.
I like that, yeah. And the good news is there are more resources than ever before.
Right.
The report actually mentions a surge in people learning about AI on platforms like Coursera. So even if you don't have a computer science degree, you can still gain valuable skills.
From the comfort of your own home.
Exactly.
So even if robots are coming for our jobs, at least we can learn how to build and program them right.
That's one way to look at it, but remember, it's not just about technical skills.
Right.
This report really emphasizes human-centered skills like resilience and adaptability.
Because in a world that's constantly changing,
Right.
being able to roll with the punches and learn new things quickly,
Right.
that's a superpower.
It is, absolutely. And speaking of superpowers, remember our talk about the green transition? Well, the report reveals that climate change mitigation, it's the third most impactful trend, and green jobs are proving incredibly resilient even when the economy is, a bit wobbly.
Which makes sense. I mean, the planet's not going to fix itself.
It's not, no, and the report highlights specific roles that are in high demand right now. Things like renewable energy engineers, environmental engineers, electric and autonomous vehicle specialists.
So going green isn't just good for the planet.
It's good for your career, too.
It's a win-win.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of future prospects, here comes the part that might make some people sweat a little.
Uh-oh.
The report says that by 2030, almost 40% of workers' core skills will need to change.
Yeah, that's a pretty big number.
That's huge.
It is, but think about it this way. It's not about losing skills.
Okay.
It's about gaining new ones.
Okay.
It's an opportunity to reinvent yourself
Right.
and stay ahead of the curve.
So how do we know which skills to focus on?
Well, the report breaks it down for us. The fastest growing three are AI and big data, networks and cybersecurity, and technological literacy.
Okay, so tech skills are king, but we were talking about digital access being even more impactful.
Right.
Does that mean that we need to be tech-savvy users more than we need to be like tech creators?
That's a great point. And the report seems to back that up. It really emphasizes human-centered skills alongside those tech skills.
Right.
Things like resilience, flexibility, agility, curiosity,
Yeah.
and a love of lifelong learning, those are highly valued by employers.
So it's not enough to just be a tech whiz. You need to be adaptable, a problem solver, and a lifelong learner.
Right, no robot can do that.
That's true. And speaking of lifelong learning, the report shares this interesting tidbit from LinkedIn data.
Oh, yeah.
People with green skills are being hired at a much higher rate than anyone else.
Wow, that's really interesting.
So not only are green jobs resilient,
Right.
they're in high demand.
That's a pretty compelling case
Yeah.
for anyone considering a career in sustainability.
I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, but also kind of excited.
I know what you mean.
It's a lot to take in, but at least we've got a roadmap now, right?
We do. We have the insights, the data, and the strategies.
Right.
Now it's about taking action and making informed choices about our careers.
So for all of our listeners out there who might be feeling a little lost in this whole job market maze, what's the most important thing they can do right now?
I think the first step is really understanding those trends we talked about
Okay.
and how they might impact your current job or your career aspirations.
And then what, like, do we all need to become AI programmers or renewable energy engineers?
Not necessarily, no. The key is identifying your strengths,
Right.
your interests,
Uh-huh.
and then finding ways to align those with the skills and industries that are in high demand.
So finding that sweet spot where your passions and the market's needs kind of intersect.
Exactly. And remember, the job market, it's always evolving.
Right.
Be prepared to adapt, learn new skills, and embrace those opportunities that come with change.
All right, listeners, that's a wrap for part 1 of our deep dive into the Future of Jobs report.
That's right.
But don't go anywhere, because in part 2, we're going to dig deeper into specific job roles, skills, and strategies for success in this brave new world of work.
Looking forward to it. Welcome back to our deep dive into the future of jobs.
All right, listeners, we're back and ready to get even more practical. Now, in part 1, we talked about those big picture trends that are shaping the job market.
Right.
But now let's zoom in and figure out, like, what do those trends actually mean for you, for your career, for your future?
Exactly. It's about concrete actions, not just these abstract ideas.
I'm ready to take notes.
All right, so let's start with the most important question. What can you do to prepare for these seismic shifts?
Okay, hit me with it.
Okay, first things first, this report really hammers home the importance of continuous learning. Like, it's not just about formal education anymore. It's about constantly expanding your skill set, staying curious, and embracing new knowledge.
It's like that saying, right? If you're not learning, you're falling behind.
Exactly, and luckily we live in a golden age of online learning.
Yeah, we do.
Platforms like Coursera have just exploded in popularity.
They have.
In fact, the report even mentions a surge in people learning about AI specifically.
Oh, wow. So even if you don't have like a fancy degree, you can still upskill yourself in these cutting edge fields.
Absolutely, and it's not just about those technical skills. Remember those human-centered skills?
Right.
Things like adaptability, critical thinking, and communication. Those are becoming even more valuable as technology advances.
It's like those skills are the secret sauce that makes us uniquely human, the things that robots can't replicate.
Precisely so. Don't underestimate the power of soft skills. The report highlights them repeatedly.
Okay, so we need to be lifelong learners, both in terms of hard skills and soft skills.
You got it. Now let's talk about some specific actions you can take. The report actually lays out some really practical advice. One suggestion is to explore those online learning platforms. Think about it. You can learn from world-class experts from the comfort of your own home, and often for a fraction of the cost of traditional education.
It's like having a personal tutor in your pocket.
Exactly. And another suggestion from the report is to focus on building your network, attend industry events, connect with people on LinkedIn, reach out to people you admire for informational interviews.
It's all about building relationships and learning from others.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. You know, volunteer for new projects, take on challenging assignments, seek out opportunities to learn and grow.
Because sometimes the best learning happens when we're pushed beyond our limits.
That's right. Now, let's talk about something that might make some people a little uncomfortable, the jobs that are expected to decline.
Okay, yeah. This is the part where we might need a little emotional support.
I get it. It's true. Some job roles are facing headwinds due to automation and those technological advancements.
So, for example, the report mentions like clerical roles, cashiers and ticket clerks and administrative assistants and executive secretaries.
We're also seeing a decline in roles like printing workers and accountants and auditors.
It can be unsettling to think about these jobs sort of disappearing, but it's also a reminder that we need to be adaptable and proactive in our career choices, right?
Absolutely. And the good news is that many of the skills that are required for these declining roles are transferable to other growing fields.
So it's not about losing your livelihood. It's about adapting your skill set to the changing demands of the job market.
Exactly. For instance, those strong organizational skills and communication skills that administrative assistants have, those are valuable in a whole bunch of roles.
Right. And the analytical skills of an accountant can be applied to data analysis or financial technology.
Precisely so. Even if your current role is facing some headwinds, there are opportunities to pivot and leverage your existing skills in new and exciting ways.
Okay, so we've talked about the importance of continuous learning, adaptability, and transferable skills. What else can we glean from this report?
Well, it dives deep into specific job roles that are expected to grow rapidly in the next few years.
Okay, now we're talking. Give us the inside scoop.
The report highlights roles like big data specialists, fintech engineers, AI, and machine learning specialists as being in super high demand.
It's like the Wild West of the job market out there, with tons of opportunities for those with the right skills.
But don't feel limited by those specific titles. You know, the report also mentions security management specialists, data warehousing specialists, autonomous and electric vehicle specialists, and UI and UX designers.
So whether you're a techie, creative, or passionate about sustainability, it seems like there's something for everyone.
And it's not just about new jobs. Existing roles are evolving rapidly, too. For example, the report predicts growth and demand for software and application developers, general and operations managers, and project managers.
So even if you're not planning a whole career overhaul, you still need to be aware of how your current role might be impacted by technology and these other macro trends.
Exactly. It's all about staying informed and adapting your skills to stay relevant.
Okay, so to recap, we need to be lifelong learners, focus on transferable skills, and be aware of those specific jobs that are growing and declining.
You got it. And don't forget about the power of networking mentorship and those professional development opportunities.
It's like building a toolkit for your career. Equipping yourself with the knowledge, the skills, and the connections you need to thrive.
Now let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. The report connects these job trends back to those 5 macro trends that we talked about earlier.
Right. Technological change, the green transition, economic uncertainty, geoeconomic fragmentation, and demographic shifts.
Exactly. It's like each trend is a piece of a puzzle, and together they create this complex and ever-changing picture of the future of work.
I like that.
One of the most striking findings is that broadening digital access is projected to be the biggest driver of net job creation, with a projected 12 million new jobs by 2030.
Which reinforces what we were talking about earlier, right? Digital access is the foundation for so much of the innovation and job growth that we're seeing.
Exactly. And it highlights the importance of bridging that digital divide and making sure everyone has access to technology and digital skills.
Absolutely. Now let's address the elephant in the room. AI. The report predicts that advancements in AI and information processing will drive a net increase of 10 million jobs by 2030.
That's huge.
It is, however, it's worth noting that AI is also projected to displace a significant number of jobs, primarily in areas that can be automated.
Right, it's important to acknowledge that.
So it's a double-edged sword, creating new opportunities while also displacing those existing roles.
Exactly.
The key takeaway here is that we need to embrace a mindset of continuous learning and be prepared to adapt our skills to work alongside AI.
I agree.
Like, we can't fight the robots, so we might as well learn how to work with them.
Right, and potentially even befriend them.
Exactly.
Who knows what the future holds for human-AI collaboration?
That's true. Okay, enough about robots. Let's talk about something a little more down to earth. The green transition. The report finds that climate change adaptation is expected to be the third largest contributor to net job growth, with a projected increase of 5 million jobs by 2030.
It's a good sign.
It's a clear indication that investing in sustainability is not just good for the planet, it's good for the economy.
Absolutely.
It's creating jobs, it's driving innovation, and it's helping us transition to a more sustainable future.
And it's a reminder that for anyone looking for a career with purpose and longevity, the green sector is a fantastic option.
It really is. Speaking of longevity, let's not forget about the impact of demographics on the job market. The report highlights two major demographic shifts: an aging and declining working age population in those developed economies, and a growing working age population in many developing economies.
Right, so we have these kind of competing forces happening at the same time.
It's interesting, these shifts have significant implications for labor supply and demand, as well as the types of skills that will be needed in the future.
Absolutely.
So, for example, an aging population will drive demand for healthcare professionals and those with skills in caring for the elderly.
Makes sense.
While a growing working age population in developing economies will create a surge in young people entering the workforce, which means we need investments in education and job creation.
Right. It's about equipping the next generation with the skills they need to succeed.
Exactly. These demographic shifts underscore the need for flexible workforce policies and a focus on retraining and upskilling to ensure everyone has the opportunity to participate in this changing job market.
It's about creating a level playing field.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And finally, let's touch upon the impact of geoeconomic fragmentation on the future of jobs. The report finds that this trend is contributing to a shift in those global supply chains and a need for workers with skills in areas like cybersecurity and risk management.
It's a reminder that the job market is constantly evolving, and we need to stay informed and adaptable to navigate these changes.
So it's like being a global citizen of the job market, right?
Exactly. It's about being aware of the interconnectedness of the world and how global trends impact the future of work.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this part. We talked about the importance of continuous learning, adaptability, transferable skills, specific job roles that are growing and declining, the impact of those macro trends on the job market, and the need for flexible workforce policies.
We've covered a lot.
We have, but there's still so much more to unpack in this report. So stay tuned for part 3, where we'll dive even deeper into specific skills, business practices, and the role of public policy in shaping the future of work. AI, to improve patient care and diagnosis, and the energy sector is investing in renewable energy technologies and sustainability practices, while the financial services sector is leveraging AI to personalize customer experiences and manage risk.
It sounds like every industry is facing its own unique set of challenges and opportunities in this new world of work.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, and the report really emphasizes that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to navigating these changes. Each sector has its own specific dynamics and needs.
So for our listeners who are thinking, okay, this is all very interesting, but what does it mean for my job? What advice does the report offer?
Well, it encourages us to think beyond specific job titles and focus on transferable skills. These are the abilities that can be applied across different roles and industries, making you a more versatile and adaptable worker.
So it's not about being pigeonholed into one specific career path, but rather developing a set of core skills that could be applied in various contexts.
Exactly. Think of it like building a Swiss Army knife of skills.
Yeah.
The more tools you have in your arsenal, the better equipped you'll be to handle whatever challenges come your way.
I like that analogy. So what are some of these essential transferable skills?
Well, the report highlights a few key areas. First, there's the ability to think critically and solve problems. This means being able to analyze information, identify patterns, and come up with creative solutions.
So it's about being a thinker, not just a doer.
Exactly. Then there's communication, both written and verbal. In today's hyper-connected world, being able to communicate clearly and effectively is essential.
Especially when we're working with people from different backgrounds and cultures.
Absolutely. And then there's collaboration. As work becomes increasingly team-based and project-oriented, the ability to work effectively with others is crucial.
So it's not just about what you know, it's about how well you can work with others to achieve a common goal.
That's right. And finally, there's adaptability. In a world of constant change, the ability to learn new things, quickly embrace new technologies, and adjust to new situations is essential.
So being comfortable with uncertainty and seeing change as an opportunity rather than a threat?
Exactly. These transferable skills are like the foundation of a strong career. They'll serve you well no matter what industry you're in or what role you're playing.
So listeners, take some time to assess your own skills. Where are your strengths? What areas could you improve? How can you develop those transferable skills that will make you a valuable asset in the future job market?
Yeah, and the report also emphasizes the importance of understanding those specific trends that are shaping your industry.
So if you're in healthcare, for example, you should be aware of those advancements in telemedicine and AI-powered diagnostics.
Exactly, and if you're in manufacturing, you should be keeping up with the latest developments in automation and robotics.
So it's about being proactive and staying ahead of the curve.
Right. The report also highlights the importance of networking and mentorship.
It's not just about what you know, it's also about who you know.
Exactly. Connect with people in your industry, attend conferences, join professional organizations, and seek out mentors who can guide you and offer advice.
It's about building relationships and learning from those who have been there before.
And if you want another AI dope deep dive, check this next video and ask yourself, how lucky are we to live in these AI dope times?